Nikola Tesla may have been the most important man in history, and most people have no idea. We are told he was a brilliant inventor who helped create the modern age, but the history books leave out the most terrifying part of his story. This isn't just about electricity, it's about power. It's about a man who saw the future and was destroyed for it. Welcome to Untold History. If you believe the truth deserves to be heard, subscribe now and join our journey. To understand the man, we must look at where the mystery began. Long before the lights of New York, Tesla was a child in a small village in what is now Croatia. Even then, he wasn't normal. He suffered from strange visions. He saw flashes of light that filled the air around him. These weren't just hallucinations. In these flashes, he saw machines. He saw gears turning. He saw inventions so clearly that he could reach out and touch them. He didn't just think, he experienced the future. But this gift came with a heavy price. It made him an outsider. It made him a target for a world that fears what it cannot understand. In 1884, this man arrived in New York with nothing but 4 cents and a dream. He wasn't like other men. He didn't just want to invent machines, he wanted to control energy itself. This was Nikola Tesla. He could build entire engines in his mind without ever touching a tool. He never needed blueprints because he could see the sparks before they even existed. But as he stepped off that ship, he had no idea he was walking into a world that would try to break him, a world run by the most powerful men on Earth. Tesla went to work for Thomas Edison. At the time, Edison was the king of light, but his system was weak. It was called direct current, or DC. It was expensive and inefficient. It could only travel a few blocks before fading away. This meant you needed a massive power plant on every street corner. Tesla told Edison there was a better way. He called it alternating current. It was stronger. It was faster. It was the future. But Edison didn't want the future. He wanted control. He had already spent millions building DC plants. He didn't want a better system to make his empire obsolete. Edison promised Tesla $50,000, a fortune at the time, to fix his inefficient machines. Tesla worked for months. He barely slept. He redesigned the generators and made them work perfectly. He did the impossible. And when he asked for his reward, Edison laughed. He told Tesla he didn't understand American humor. This was the first betrayal. It was the moment Tesla realized that in the world of big business, genius is secondary to greed. Tesla didn't fight back with fear. He fought with wonder. He partnered with George Westinghouse and secured the contract to light the Chicago World's Fair. In 1893, the world watched as a city of light rose from the darkness. Tesla passed 1,000,000 volts through his own body until he glowed like a god. He didn't burn, he shone. He won the war, and the world switched to his system. Tesla was on his way to becoming the richest man alive. He had a contract that would have made him the world's first billionaire. But Tesla did something no one expected. He tore the contract up. He gave away his fortune to save his partner's company. He chose the world over himself. And this is where the story gets darker. While the world was enjoying the light of AC power, Tesla was already moving into the unknown. He moved to Colorado Springs. He built a laboratory that looked like something out of a nightmare. He was obsessed with the idea of wireless communication and power. He wasn't just sending signals, he was trying to talk to the Earth itself. He discovered that the planet has a natural frequency. He believed that if he could tap into that frequency, he could provide energy to anyone, anywhere, for free. People in the town reported seeing sparks flying from the ground as they walked. They saw horses getting shocked through their hooves. Tesla was creating man-made lightning that could be heard from miles. During one experiment, he accidentally blew out the entire power grid of the city.
He claimed he had received signals from another planet. The newspapers mocked him, calling him a dreamer or a madman. But Tesla wasn't crazy. He was seeing a world where information and energy flowed through the air like water. He returned to New York with a plan that would change human history forever. He wanted to build a global wireless system. He convinced the banker J.P. Morgan to fund it. Tesla began building a massive tower on Long Island called Wardenclyffe. To the public, it was a radio tower, but to Tesla, it was a giant straw that would suck energy from the atmosphere and distribute it across the globe. No wires, no bills, no limits. Morgan was a man of profit. He was the man who owned the copper mines that produced the wires for the grid. He asked one simple question: if anyone can draw power from the air, where do we put the meter? When he realized he couldn't charge people for Tesla's dream and that it would destroy his own monopolies, he pulled the plug. He didn't just stop the funding, he made sure no one else would fund Tesla ever again. He blacklisted the greatest mind of the century. Wardenclyffe was destroyed. It was sold for scrap metal. Tesla was ruined. He became a ghost in New York City. He moved from hotel to hotel, always leaving when the bills became too high. He began to retreat into himself. He developed strange obsessions. He hated germs. He hated pearls. He was obsessed with the number 3. He would walk around a building 3 times before entering it. He spoke to pigeons because people wouldn't listen anymore. He even claimed to have fallen in love with a white pigeon, saying that as long as he had her, his life had purpose.
The world called him a madman. They laughed at his ideas of death rays and machines that could cause earthquakes. He claimed he had built a small device that, if attached to a skyscraper, could bring the entire building down using nothing but vibration. He spoke of a teleforce weapon that could melt airplane engines from 250 miles away. He said it would make war impossible because every nation would be invulnerable. But while the public was laughing, certain eyes were watching. They weren't laughing at all. They were taking notes. As World War II began, Tesla's inventions took on a new, terrifying importance. The military was interested in his death ray. They were interested in his ideas for radar and remote-controlled vehicles. Tesla had invented the first remote-controlled boat in 1898, but the Navy at the time didn't see the use for it. Now, decades later, they realized he was right about everything. But Tesla was old, he was tired, and he was holding on to secrets that were too dangerous for a world at war. In January 1943, Tesla died alone in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. He was 86 years old. He had no family. He had no money. He died in a room paid for by the very company he had saved decades earlier. But the moment his heart stopped, a secret operation began. Within hours, government agents entered his room. They weren't there to pay their respects to a fallen hero. They were there to take everything. They spent days going through his belongings, every notebook, every blueprint, every scrap of paper. They opened his safe and emptied his files. They were looking for the death ray. They were looking for his notes on free energy. They were looking for the secrets of the universe that Tesla had spent his life uncovering. For decades, the official story was that his papers were nothing more than the ramblings of an old man. They said there was nothing of value. Yet, many of those documents remain classified to this day. Even now, over 80 years later, the government refuses to release the full contents of Tesla's safe. Why would the notes of a madman be kept hidden for so long? If his ideas were truly useless, they would have been released to a museum long ago. Some believe his ideas were too far ahead of their time. Others think his discoveries would have changed the global economy in ways the powerful couldn't allow. Think about it. If you had a technology that could provide free energy to the entire world, what would happen to the oil companies? What would happen to the banks? What would happen to the people who control the resources we fight wars over?
The dark truth is that Tesla's vision was a threat to the status quo. He wanted to liberate humanity, but the world is run by people who thrive on scarcity. If energy is free, you cannot be controlled. If communication is instant and open, you cannot be manipulated. Tesla wasn't just an inventor, he was a revolutionary whose weapons were light and frequency. And like most revolutionaries, he was silenced by the system he tried to improve. Many questions about his work remain unanswered. There are stories of experiments that were never made public. Some say he achieved cold fusion. Others say he discovered a way to travel through time or space using electromagnetic fields. While these sound like science fiction, remember that Tesla was the man who predicted the internet, the smartphone, and the drone long before they existed. He wasn't guessing, he was calculating. Look around you today. Every time you flip a light switch, you are using Tesla's mind. Every time you use Wi-Fi, a remote control, or a radio, you are using his vision. We are living in his shadow. We use his genius every day to fuel our modern lives, yet we still pay for the energy he tried to make free. We are still tied to a grid that he tried to break 100 years ago. We have the technology, but we lack the will to challenge the systems that keep us paying the meter.
Tesla was a man who lived in the future while the world was stuck in the past. He was used by Edison, who stole his fame. He was abandoned by Morgan, who stole his funding, and he was silenced by a system that stole his legacy. His name was nearly erased from history for decades. While Edison's name was on every battery and light bulb, Tesla's name was buried in forgotten archives. Only recently has the world begun to remember who he truly was. But you can't kill an idea. Tesla once said that the present belonged to his enemies, but the future he worked for, belonged to him. We are that future. We are the ones rediscovering his work. We are the ones realizing that the world we live in is only a fraction of what it could have been if Tesla had been allowed to finish his work. The mystery of Nikola Tesla isn't just about what he invented, it's about what we lost when he was broken. It's a reminder that history is not always what it seems. Sometimes the most important truths are the ones they try to hide in the dark. We must ask ourselves, how many other Teslas are out there right now? How many brilliant minds are being silenced because their inventions threaten the profits of the powerful? Tesla's life is a warning. It shows us that progress is often halted by those who benefit from the old ways. It shows us that being right isn't enough. You have to be powerful enough to survive the people who want you to fail. Tesla died with nothing in his pockets, but he left the world everything. He was a man of frequency and vibration who understood that the universe is made of energy. He saw the world not as a collection of objects, but as a giant machine that could be tuned. His life was a sacrifice. He gave up the chance to have a family. He gave up the chance to be a billionaire. He gave up his mental health and his reputation. All of it was for us. All of it was so that we could have a world of light. Today, his name is finally returning to where it belongs. He is being recognized as the true father of the electric age. But let's not just celebrate his inventions. Let's remember his struggle. Let's remember the tower that was torn down. Let's remember the notebooks that are still locked in government safes. Let's remember the man who stood in the middle of a lightning storm and saw a better way for all of us to live. The story of Nikola Tesla is a call to action. It's an invitation to look deeper at the world around us, to question why things are the way they are, to wonder what secrets are still waiting to be found in the shadows of history. Tesla didn't want to be a hero, he just wanted to be useful. And in the end, he became the most useful man who ever lived, even if the world took a century to realize it. Thank you for walking through these hidden corridors of time with us. The story of Nikola Tesla is just one of many that have been kept from the light.
We believe that by understanding the men and women who were pushed to the margins, we can better understand where we are going. The past is a puzzle, and every piece matters. If you enjoy stories like this, stories that challenge the official narrative and bring the truth out of the shadows, subscribe to Untold History. There's a lot more history they never told you. We are dedicated to bringing the truth to light one story at a time. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a journey into the unknown. Watch our other videos to discover the secrets that shaped our world. The past is full of mysteries. Let's solve them together. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your mind curious. The truth is out there, waiting to be told. And maybe the real story of Tesla is only just beginning.